What is up, IDP Army? What is up, fantasy football fanatics? It's your man, Jordan Reigns, at 50 Shades of Drunk. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the Cardi B of IDP, as some people call me. Check me out there. Check out the fantasy football. Check out all of our fantasy football stuff over at the IDP Army on Twitter, at Semi-Pro Fantasy on Twitter. Today, we are going to be going over our Week 13. Can't believe I'm saying that. Week 13 IDP waiver wire show. We're going to talk about some of the top targets. We'll recap the Week 12 action, a lot of stuff. It was a long week. We had Thanksgiving games last week. So we've been having a lot of football for a lot of days, and we still have a game tonight to finish out the week. But I want to go ahead and get this show done for you all. So hang tight. Let's go ahead and talk about the Week 13 IDP waiver wire, and we'll get you guys ready to go for Week 14.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, thank you for joining me today. It was a good week of fantasy football. Hopefully you got some wins. I know weird week for quarterbacks. We had a lot of bye weeks. Like I said, it's been a long week, but make sure before you get started, you give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it for the channel. It would do a lot of good. Subscribe to the channel. It's getting late in the season, so share us with people. If you've been keeping us a secret from your league mates, share the channel with people, share the podcast feed with people. We would appreciate that. We're going to be here all off season doing dynasty content, doing best ball content. Obviously, I'll keep doing all my IDP content. Working on a lot of cool stuff on the Patreon for the dynasty index, the Devi index to begin to pair with as a product to go with the ultimate IDP index. So we're really starting to get things taken off over here. We appreciate you, the listener, for the support. Be sure to check out the Underdog show. That's usually on Wednesdays. Me and my man Dave Kluge do that. We walk you through our favorite underdog plays of the week. We do a head-to-head draft, or we do like a six-man draft. And it's a good time. It's a good platform. Right now, they have a signing bonus, first-time deposit bonus. I believe it's still $100 if you're a first-time depositor. So go over there, check them out. We're doing a lot of stuff on there. Going forward, they're my favorite fantasy football platform right now that's not sleeper, because they just offer a fun and unique way to play fantasy football. So check them out. But you really came here to talk about IDP, because that's what we do here mostly IDP, all fantasy football, as the brand says. But let's go ahead and just break into the injuries, okay? There was a couple of guys that got hurt, not really huge affecting you per se. We had Anthony Barr get hurt again. He's been hurt all season. So Nick Vigil will probably be back out there again for them. So he's going to be a guy, if he's back on the waivers, check him out. We had Deion Jones sit out this week. He had a shoulder injury that popped up late in the week. Dre Greenlaw came back, but then he hurt his groin yesterday. So I did get a question on the live stream yesterday about Aziz Algier. Somebody was asking, is it time to drop him because Greenlaw's coming back? I was like, hold the phone. Like, Shazier's been good. Don't just drop him yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Greenlaw's coming back from injury. In Dynasty, even he could be a player down the road that we're talking about continually. And sure as shit, okay, Fred Warner got hurt yesterday, and Greenlaw hurt himself again. So I hope I forgot who asked the question. Sorry if you're watching, listening right now, but hopefully you didn't drop him, because his value is instantly. It's probably higher now than it even was all season. He went out and got a pick yesterday in a game that a lot of people watched off of Kirk Cousins. So these San Francisco linebackers, the main ones are having a little bit of trouble staying healthy right now. Shazier hasn't done anything to hurt you. He's been on the waiver wire show all season. Hopefully, he's not on your waiver wires at this point if you were watching this show. Bradley Chubb came back. I have to apologize. I don't think he played yesterday. I know they activated him from the IR. I know I didn't play him in any leagues and was definitely not suggesting anybody do that yesterday. Let me double check here. Bradley Chubb, where are you? Yeah, I'm not seeing him right now on here. But he is back, and Denver looked half decent yesterday. I think Denver's a little bit of a sleeper team, for make a little noise in the playoffs, if you want to take it that far, I guess. All right, here we go. Looks like Chubb played 30 snaps yesterday. So even coming off the injury, 30 snaps, didn't record any stats though. So that's concerning. But you haven't been counting on him all season so far, so I'm not really letting it like change my life or anything like that. TJ Watt came back yesterday, had a terrible game, probably the worst game he's ever had in his career. Man, Steelers game was tough to watch yesterday. As a Steelers fan, that was tough. Yeah, Bengals look good, but it's not even like the Bengals look good. It's like the Steelers defense looked so bad yesterday. So bad. And then Big Ben throwing these picks. Dude, what are you doing? So many picks by Big Ben. All right, moving on. Okay, I guess it's time we'll go ahead and do a little recap of the games for you guys here. Again, do me a huge favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, thumbs up it, click on the links below. Make sure you're listening to the podcast. You know, if you don't want to listen on YouTube, which not everybody does, I listen to podcasts all the time. We got the podcast links down below too, so make sure you are in on those. So we'll go ahead and start with the Thanksgiving games. We're just going to kind of go through these games, talk about how they went. We did have Roquan Lee with an injury in this game early. That's why he only had 3 tackles. Jalen Johnson came in, filled in for him a little bit. You don't want to monitor the injury to Roquan. He's been the linebacker 1 basically this year all year. Robert Quinn came through again with another big game, 5 total tackles, a sack, tackle for loss. The only person you're really playing on Detroit side of the ball, you're playing Tracy Walker, or I have been, and then Alex Anzalone, 2 pass deflections yesterday. That's, those are some premium stats right there. 7 or 9 complete total tackles. But everybody else is just, very nondescript, nothing really exciting to talk about there from defensive side. Tracy Walker, again, this year, he's really just doing what you needed him to do. I know a lot of people were kind of fading him coming into the year. It's kind of like a popular thing, but he's basically played every game, and he's been more than a startable asset for you. So let's go to this Raiders-Cowboys game. This game had a lot to offer IDP and fantasy managers in general. Ended up being, my opinion, it was the best game of the Thanksgiving slate. Keanu Neal coming through with a big game, 12 tackles. Jaron Kearse coming through with another big game. He's had a great year for the defensive back position. Hopefully people have been playing him, staying on him. He wasn't a popular name coming in. I know even myself was very much on Donovan Wilson, but no, it's Jaron Kearse's show for the defensive backs there. That's not named Trevon Diggs. Micah Parsons, he's having a great season playing from the edge position. He plays almost all of his snaps from the edge this week. 5 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits. That's wild. I don't even know if Chase Young had 5 quarterback hits all year before he went out. And I'm actually going to bet that right now because that's a fun stat. Chase Young. Just to give you an idea of what that means. Like, people hear 5 quarterback hits and I don't think it computes what that means. Yeah, so Chase Young this year, 2021, started 9 games, recorded 4 quarterback hits all year. He played 477 snaps. Micah Parsons did that in a game, okay? Micah Parsons is special. So just want to emphasize that. Pretty much par for the course over here on the rest of the players. You still play Trevon Diggs, hasn't had an interception in a while, but he's still going to be in your lineup. 5 tackles is still very good for a defensive back. You're basically what you're going to get from your streamers. Probably wasn't getting targeted a lot either because Derek Carr, knows how to win a game, and it's not by trying to play hero ball. Jonathan Abram having a great season this year, 10 total tackles in this game. Nothing really special besides that. Corey Littleton, I know a lot of people were disappointed in him coming into the year. He was probably one of the better values, could be found on waiver wire / completely free in drafts this year because he underperformed massively last year. Has played very well this year, or not very well per se, but has been very productive or somewhat productive for IDP. In as much like you can play him every week. I've been playing him every week. That's what you want. Denzel Perryman, I think he got a little banged up at one point. I don't even remember if it was this game or last game. I feel like every time I watch them play, he's getting banged up. Into the game, though, 7 total tackles, only 2 of them solo, though. So don't love that. Clelin Ferrell, 1 tackle. I don't even know why I'm bringing his name up. He's basically a special teamer from what I could tell now. Yannick Ngakoue continues an impressive year. Let's take a look actually at his profile here. He's pacing for a good season sack wise for him. He's at 8 this year. He averages about 9 a year. I think he's only been over double digits once in his career. Pretty sure he's going to hit that comfortably this year. Again, in classic Yannick fashion, though, you can see here only 14 solo tackles on the season. One of the reasons IDP managers really have struggled to trust him coming into the season. He's always going to be a boom bust kind of guy, but he's consistently boomed enough to where he's always on the radar. I have him in a lot of leagues. I hope a lot of the IDP managers out there that follow this channel were able to get him premium player this year, weekly starter every week because he's getting home with the sacks. He's playing very, very good ball. 2 forced fumbles as well this year. He has led the league in forced fumbles in his career. So he's a disruptive player. He's staying healthy. He's doing exactly what we want him to do. Max Crosby also having a great season on the same team. So let's move on to this Buffalo New Orleans game. It was a total domination by Buffalo. It was honestly embarrassing for the Saints. But let's go ahead and give you a quick recap. Matt Milano came through with 8 tackles. Tremaine Edmonds, 8 tackles. That's a pretty good game for Tremaine Edmonds. Ed Oliver was showing off a little bit. Has been the last couple of games. Not really sure I'm buying into it completely from Ed Oliver yet. Teron Johnson had an all right game, 1 tackle for loss. Nothing else really to report on that side of the ball. Demario Davis continues to be underrated. 10 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss. No pass deflections from him this week. Pardon me. Quan Alexander had a good game. He had a crazy, I believe he had an interception this week too. It doesn't say that explicitly on here because ESPN, the way they have their scoring stuff set up is kind of weird. Yeah, there it is. He did have an interception. He looks good. He's a player that I'll take an L on. I was very off and still kind of am off, as in I don't have him, but on any teams. But if he's on your waiver wire, you should be looking towards Quan Alexander. He's been playing some good ball. Again, didn't blow you out of the water this week, only 4 tackles total, but he can still make plays. That's what we want to see. Ultimately, anybody with snaps is going to get production, but you want playmakers because they're going to increase your probability of, getting that home run type of game out of a player. So let's go ahead and go on to my Steelers and the Bengals game. Honestly, the Steelers side I probably won't have much to talk about. Bengals defense has been looking good lately. Anybody who's played them recently knows that. All right, Joe Schobert came through 11 total tackles. That's a good game for show. Nothing else to offer you, though. 8 tackles for Minka. Minka Fitzpatrick's having an amazing year in the tackle department. Cameron Hayward came through with a big game. TJ Watt, again, this is probably the first bad game the guy's ever had. Only 2 total tackles. He was getting double, triple team the whole game. It was frustrating, and they went down so early. You could tell that they were – and they just kept having to go back out on the field. I felt like every 45, 50 seconds, the Steelers defense was back out on the field for the first half of that game. So they were mentally pretty much broken to start that game off. Logan Wilson, 6 tackles. I want to give IDP Bomber a shout out real quick. Go follow him on Twitter. He posted this morning, you didn't get a lot of production from these guys. Hendrickson did have an early sack. They had the fumble recovery. I believe Hubbard picked that up. Oh, where's that noise coming from? Stop it. But they pulled their starters. They got so high up in this game. Eventually, they pulled their starting defensive players. So, their upside was capped in this game. Yeah, we had a sack from Hubbard and a sack from Hendrickson. And then they also combined for a forced fumble and a fumble recovery as well. So they had a nice game. A couple of them boys over there. Also, some cheap defensive linemen that you could get very easily this year later in drafts that have been having really, really good success. All right, let's keep it scooting along here. We'll jump into this New York Jets game quickly. They pulled out a win. Excuse me. CJ Mosley had a decent game, 8 total tackles, only 3 solo. Quincy Williams came through with a big game. Listen, this is how you work with Quincy Williams. If Quincy Williams is playing at all, play him. He always scores. It's like a bazillion points if he's not getting hurt. I was a little bit – I don't know why I didn't even take my own advice on that last week or yesterday because I had a league where I almost put him in, but I didn't because I had another guy. I don't even remember who it was, but I felt a little – I think it was Xavier McKinney. He ended up having a great game too because I was going to play him in a defensive back spot. And, man, it just hurts whenever you have a defensive or a linebacker go off for a big game. And this was a big, big game. Oh, my gosh, quit doing that. A sack, tackle for loss, 7 total tackles. That's a big game. So it hurts to have him on my bench. John Franklin Meyer went nuclear yesterday. Okay, 3 solo tackles. He had 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. He had an interception. He took back like 40 yards. He had himself a day. He was been on the waiver wire segment earlier this year. Hopefully you picked him up. I have him in a couple of leagues. I think he was on the bench in one of my leagues, and I think I played him in another one. Hopefully you played him yesterday because that was the best game he's had all year. Big game from him. Love to see it. Zach Cunningham, as per usual, when he gets the snaps, he produces 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Cameron Grugier-Hill also came through for managers with 7. Oh, is he going to start playing that music again? There it is. Stop it. So, all right, let's see. Let's just focus on a couple of these games I want to highlight here. I wanted to highlight the Miami game. They got home for a lot of sacks on Cam Newton. Was kind of a breakout game for, where's he at here? The rookie on Miami, Jalen Phillips, had 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Only played like 30 snaps too. So he had a massive game on minimal work. Cam Newton looked pretty shook in that game. After the first drive, everybody's on Twitter like, oh, Cam's back. And then the rest of the game, I was like, yeah, Cam's back. So that was unfortunate. Shaq Thompson came through with a massive game, 10 total solo tackles, 13 total for the Panthers. I had some people asking about him yesterday on the live stream, a little hesitant to play him, but I was like, nah, you got to play this guy. All right, y'all, I got to get my pop-up blocker fixed or something on here, so I'm not going to share this anymore with you, but I will talk you through the rest of the players that I am looking at for this week. All right. Let's continue here. Jalen Phillips, check your waiver wires for him. Ogba, and Van Winkle are really getting most of the snaps. Why is this happening? Please stop. Jeez. Ogba and Van Winkle are still getting more snaps, but Phillips, he was their first-round pick this year, one of their first-round picks. Jalen Waddle, oh my gosh. We have to have a sidebar about Jalen Waddle. This dude is insane. And the fact that he's not even really being utilized to his most unique skill set, which is downfield, man, if you can go get Jalen Waddle for like a first-round pick in your dynasty leagues right now, and this is, again, it's completely off topic, go get him. Like right now, all I'm doing in my leagues personally is I'm scheming 24/7 on how to get Jalen Waddle off the guy who has Jalen Waddle in all my leagues right now. That's literally where I'm at this Monday, 11/29/2021. Okay, and you should be with me. Jalen, I noticed that he had a big game yesterday. I'm like to the point where the manager, who has him, they know what they have at this point. So you basically have to pay up. Not, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Okay, so really wanted to get that out there. I'm glad I didn't make any notes about that, but man, scheme on Jalen Waddle where you can, when you can. All right, let's finish up with what other notes I had here about this game or these games. The New England game and the Titans game. Titans linebackers are falling left and right. Pretty much it's Jayon Brown's like the only guy left that's kind of even close to healthy. Kevin Byard had a great game, a sack, a tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits. They're playing him like a true strong safety this year. He's crushing for IDP. Definitely was coming into the year, was not high enough on Kevin Byard, player who's performing at an elite level. This week, was he the defensive back number 1 this week? I'll double check. I think he was on the week. He's had a couple of weeks like that this season. No, there was a lot of high scoring guys this week. He was number 4 with 31. Ronnie Harrison had a big game yesterday. 14 tackles and interception, pass deflection. Patrick Surtain, 2 interceptions. That'll get you up there, 33 points. Rasul Douglas, an interception. But Kevin Byard comes in at 31. Harrison Smith also had a big game. Derwin James had an interception. 7 tackles, quarterback hit, pass deflection. Derwin James that's a big L for me. Last year and a half, when he was injured and stuff, it was like I was glad not to have him on a lot of my teams. But he's really given you this year a positional advantage where guys like Buda Baker and Jabril Peppers and Jamal Adams in the past have offered that. Really, the only guy offering you that this season, or guys that have offered you that this season, have been Derwin James, and then earlier on in the year, Trevon Diggs. So if you believe, you have those guys, you really have been mopping it up points wise. Shaq Barrett came through with a big game on the defensive line yesterday. 2 sacks, forced fumble, 8 tackles. It's good to see because he's been low on the stats. He's been kind of floating around the what do you have? 6, I think 6 or 7, maybe sacks all season. That's not what you're really looking for from Shaq Barrett. Some people were like, "Oh, he got paid. He's getting lazy." He looked good yesterday. I think he just needed a get right game, and he had it. Darius Leonard had a monster game, 33 points. Alex Singleton, if he's out on your waiver wire still by some random chance, because some manager kind of overreacted to him losing the snaps. Players that have gotten work and have been productive with it, it's they're benchable. You have to remember, before you drop a guy, bench him a week or two. I think a lot of people get frustrated with people, especially in IDP, and they just want to drop them. It can be a dangerous game to play. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I do want to highlight him as a major waiver wire pickup because he's probably available on your waiver wire. Last couple of weeks, he has not really played a lot of snaps, hasn't been super duper productive. But in last night's game, he was all over the place. He was making big plays, and it was, part and parcel because he was getting a lot of the snaps yesterday. I think he played like 89 or 90 something. Like he played 85%, I'm looking at here, of the snaps, which matched Anthony Walker. So that's what you like to see. Let's see any other notes from that game in particular while I'm talking about, because that Browns game was last night. Patrick Queen, it's not pretty for Patrick Queen, and it's not really looking like it's going to get better. Only 63% of the snaps last night. That's benchable. I mean, that's a benchable player for you. Now in Dynasty, I think his value is going to hold up for a while, okay? But you cannot rely on that. You cannot rely on any of the linebackers right now for the Ravens at all. So definitely avoid like the plague. But Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he's going to be a guy I think you can pick up and play immediately. He looks like a true playmaker. Browns got him on a deal this year. He was like the 3rd or 4th linebacker taken. Looks like he might be the best one in the class besides Micah Parsons. So good to see that. And you're going to get a full-time linebacker from him. And again, because he's been banged up and not getting the snaps last couple of weeks coming off the injury, there's a very good chance he's on your waiver wire. So go check for him. If you're looking for defensive end help, DJ Woonham getting a lot of snaps, not really, doing a lot of big stuff with him, but he's out there in a lot of leagues probably. He has flashed before. He can get home and finish his sacks too. Just trying to see if there's any other big name guys. Kenneth Murray. There's a couple of guys that we kind of like. Again, we're going to have – it's late in the season. You probably already know this, but I just want to give you permission. You can walk away from guys like Kenneth Murray. You can walk away from guys like Patrick Queen at this point because we're trying to chase wins. I would rather – I want to win with players that are playing. All right, I got some comments here. I want to get to these before we shut her down. Will Logan Thomas play tonight? I saw he was out. My man, Adrian McFadden. We got here. Yo, what up, Alexander? He played but got 0 points. All right, I think that was the Bradley Chubb bit. Yeah, benching him was the play. Would you trade Kelsey for Jamar, Chase, and Renfro? Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely, Jonathan Komp. I mean, with Jamar Chase right now, you're getting not just a top 3 dynasty wide receiver consensus. That's a top. That would make him in non-superflex a top 3 asset, and even in superflex, I think he's going to push up into that top 10 dynasty assets overall pretty easily. 22 years old. We've only begun to see what he can do in the NFL, and it looks good. Kelsey, a lot of his best stuff's behind him. You gotta look at it like that. It's a timeline. I mean, you're passing the baton off. So for a brief moment, yeah, maybe Kelsey is going to hurt, but Kelsey's going to be done and gone out of the NFL when Jamar Chase is really hitting his stride for you. Now, for Dynasty. Now, now, granted, if this is just a season-long trade, which I don't know why you'd be doing trades this late. Most people have trade deadlines, I think, but I would still, in that case, I might stick it out with Kelsey, depending on my receiver situation. But in Dynasty, 100%. Ruru says Greg Rousseau was hot early, but seems to be rotating DL concept, taking him off the field. Yeah, this is what the Bills do. They don't, I mean, they do some guys every once in a while. Somebody will get, a good line share of the snaps, but they do very much believe in a rotational sort of defensive line system right now. Seems to be working for them fairly well. Again, if you get to play, the Saints, they're a mess. You can pretty much do whatever. Oh, looks like we got Billy hopping in the background here, throwing me off. Billy's trying to take over. Y'all, I need help. This is a message. Cry for help. Get Billy out of here. Let's pull him on in here. What up, Bill?
Hey, I was just hopping on to listen. That was it.
Oh, well, I mean,
No.
You're the real star of the organization these days.
I'm not trying to be the star of the organization.
Well, you have to be. Someone has to be. We need a workhorse like you, Bill. Listen, it's it's about to be that dynasty Devy time of year. It's about to be that college football time of year. What do you got cooking back there for us?
Where we're getting tiered lists ready to go for college football, so everybody knows who to be after this time of year.
Yep. We got the Devy Index. I want to make sure we get you in there and get that all trimmed up and ready to go. When does the actual college football season end? Soon?
Championship weekends this weekend, and then the bowl game season, and then January, I think it's like 11th or something, is the championship.
Nice.
But
so
for all intents and purposes, it starts after this weekend because people are going to start opting out, Senior Bowl, like all that stuff's going to start happening. So
nice. Well, for everyone listening out there, we're going to try to get the Devy Index up and running by the 1st of January is kind of what I'm hoping. I want to launch that stuff out into the ether. I want to get as much feedback as I can in January. We're going to build it out, and just keep it updated through the season. Do reports on, all the guys that, Senior Bowl reports. We'll do, we'll cover the combine. We're going to move a lot of stuff on the channel over towards, covering that. Cause that's what, that's that time of year in football. We got to watch some of these guys. I'm not a huge Devy head. A lot of people know that. But I do see the value of, being aware of what's coming into the NFL, because these guys are going to affect our fantasy football teams for a while.
And big IDP here too. There's two players that could very well go in the top 10 of Superflex drafts this year for defense, which is rare, very rare. But I've seen as high as 6, number 6 overall. Yeah, for Mr. Kayvon Thibodeau. My bad.
Yeah, and I saw that Hutchinson kid blew up this weekend too.
He did. I still have some issues with him, but he, if he's going to do that against Ohio State, he's doing it against the best competition possible.
Nice. Yeah. Well, we're going to cover all that for you all, like I said, and we're going to bring more products, more content into the circle. Happy to be here. I don't really have anything else to add to the show. Check out, again, follow us at Semi-Pro Fantasy and then follow at the IDP Army. Interact with us at us on Twitter, tag us and stuff. We'll answer your questions on there. We answer all the questions in the comments that come through on YouTube. We love interacting with the audience. Make sure you play Underdog with us. I'm in Underdog literally all the time. Like if you click the link down below and you play even 2 or 3 Underdog drafts in a week, you'll probably maybe see me in one. Okay. So hop in there. I drop them on my timeline too. Fun to do, private drafts, which it's open to anybody. It's just people that I know, want to talk a little shit with. So hop on in there with me. I want to do one with Billy here pretty soon, but that's pretty much it from the IDP.
This Wednesday, I'm available. We're not doing our podcast on Wednesday this week, so if y'all
are this week might be a little weird for me. I got some other random ass.
I'm just saying, if you're doing a draft, maybe you could spot me one of the positions in it.
I don't know about all that. You kind of just left me high and dry yesterday. Threw old Josh at me.
I worked until 7:30 a.m. I could not have possibly made it at 10.
I'm just kidding you, man.
No, Josh is a fine replacement.
No, he did pretty good. Except for his Eagle propaganda. It had to come out.
Believe me, he is very humbled after yesterday's loss. We're going to have a little bit of a timeout from Eagles talk on our podcast.
Timeout. I can't even imagine Josh in a timeout. So.
Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt.
All right. Well, IDP Army, that's it from me. That's it from Billy. Like I said, thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, listen to the podcast feed, follow us on all social media. We got big shit popping off for you all soon. So until later this week, take her easy.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.